Hi everybody, welcome back to another edition of ABMP's Meditate and Move. I'm Lynn Teachworth.
And I'm Ann Teachworth.
And we are from Trunamics, which is a really fun platform to help good therapists become great. So what do we got in store today, Ann?
Yeah, well, we are going to continue on with our functional embodiment. So like I said yesterday, I'm a Franklin Method educator, and we use a lot of imagery to help us get more into what's happening in the body. And it turns out we can actually increase our results, our benefit, when we use this embodied approach. So we're going to focus in a little bit deeper onto the organs. I think organ work is some of the most powerful work, especially for the nervous system, and how it affects the muscles, joints, fascia throughout the body. Organs are so fundamental to overall function in the body, movement, integrity in the body, but really the nervous system and how our mind is feeling, even how we're feeling emotionally, energetically, everything. So we're going to do some organ work today, just to help us integrate and be calm, balanced, centered, and we'll even move a little bit better. So lungs are a hot topic, obviously, these days. We're going to give our lungs a little bit of extra love. Let's just start with some, well, first let's notice what our breath feels like before we even get started. So, take a few breaths and see how that feels without changing anything, just becoming aware of, where the breath moves, how things are feeling as you breathe. And then we'll just begin by kind of mapping out the lungs. So let's start with the right lung, and we'll use our fingertips to tap around the lung. So lungs are actually quite big. It even comes all the way up inside the first rib, so high in the clavicle, and then fills the upper part of the rib cage. And as we inhale, it expands pretty much all the way down to the bottom of the rib cage. And in the back, it's going to go all the way back right over to the spine. So as much of that as you can, tap, breathe into that area, bringing awareness to the area as you are tapping and breathing over to the sternum, up under the shoulder, as much on the back as you can, tapping, breathing, filling that space with breath and awareness. Okay. Good, then we will drop the arm. Now, I want you to take a breath into the right side of the lung. See how that feels. Maybe a little more open, expanded, and then try to take a breath into the left lung.
Feels a little more restricted.
A little bit more restricted, right. You might actually notice quite a big difference, like even just with a little awareness, proprioception. So let's go to the left side. We'll tap around that. We're mapping it out for the body, for the brain. And you really want to have your brain, your mind, your awareness in what you are tapping. So see if you can picture the lung, different lobes of the lung, breathing all the way down to the bottom of the rib cage, up under the shoulder, inside the first rib there. Tapping, maybe even feeling it kind of light up or expand as we go. Okay. Good. Great. So now we're going to think about how the lungs move when we move. Now you could picture the lung sort of like a sponge. And as we bend forward, we're going to flex the spine. As we flex the spine, can you picture that the front of the lung would kind of compress? So if this is from the side, and the back is going to lengthen or expand. So let's see if we can go into flexion and extension and just picture the lung inside doing that movement. And as we go into extension, the front of the lung expands, the back compresses. And then compress the front of the lung, expand the back. And then expand the front, compress the back. Let's do another round. Compress the front, expand the back. Compress the back, expand the front. Now, see if you can let the lung initiate that movement. So we always think muscle, bone for movement, but see if you can have that inside 3D space initiate the forward movement. So the front of the lung starts to compress, the back lengthens, and we round forward. Ooh. And then reverse, start to shorten, compress the back of the lungs, expand the front. And you might even notice that your spinal movement increases as we focus on organ movement, initiating our movement. So really expanding the front of the lungs and then expanding the back of the lungs. Nice. Let's come back through center.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. So maybe already starting to feel the chest a little bit more open, relaxed. So we can also think about how the lungs move when we go into lateral flexion. So of course, when we go to the side, like let's bend to the left one's kind of compressing more, right one's stretching. And even within each lung, one side is compressing and one side's expanding. So we could go back and forth and try to feel that happening. So we have 300 million alveoli in each lung, these little air sacs. And as we're moving, we're encouraging some movement, increasing that elasticity. Good. Come back to center. So we can also think, this is just thinking how organs move when we move, but we could also think how they're moving to what's around them. So for example, in the back, if you don't mind turning around, the lungs come right up on either side of the spine and actually right on either side of the vertebral bodies. They're here. So as he's bending to the right, the lungs kind of sliding up the spine. It has a joint with the spine. And then as he comes back, it's sliding down. So let's see if we can feel that joint. This would be orgokinematics in the Franklin method. We talk about organ joints and how they move with each other. So let's go to the left. Feel the right lung slide up the spine. And then feel the right lung slide down the spine as you go back to the right. So we just picture that one joint between right lung and spine, and we're sliding the lung up and down the spine. Slippery, slidey space in there. Maybe feel that lateral flexion start to feel smoother, freer. Good. Great. And then let's come to the left side, picturing that same joint, except left side now. So left lung and spine, and we're sliding the lung up and down the spine. Might even picture the spine going in the opposite direction. So we slide lung down and spine up, and then slide lung up and spine down. Picturing the relative motion. Oh, getting tricky. Yeah, slippery sliding there. Okay. Great. How's that feeling? Nice.
Amazing. My spine feels good. Thoracics are very happy right now.
Yeah, so obviously this is going to affect the thoracic spine, but we don't necessarily think to go in and do this deeper work. Now we can tune in and picture one of the largest ball and socket joints in the body between the lungs and the heart. Let me see if I can hold these here. Yeah. Lungs and heart. So we might not think of this as a ball and socket joint, but in fact it is. And there's going to be slide between the pleura of the lungs and the pericardium around the heart. So let's think let's just go with the right arm. As you take your right arm forward, can you picture how the right lung would come forward around the heart, and relatively the heart goes back. And then you could take the lung back, heart forward. Yeah, lung forward, heart back. Lung back, heart forward. Sliding the lung around the heart. Lung forward, heart back. Lung back, heart forward. Let's go up this time, reaching lung up. Heart kind of rolls down and towards the lung. And then lung down, and the heart would go in the opposite direction. So finding that counter rotation between lung and heart as we move. And can you picture that as a nice, slippery, slidey joint space? Great.
Amazing stretch in there.
Yeah. Let's head to the other side. So I just want to show you that counter motion again. So we're going to be on the left lung. So we can feel the left lung go forward and then back. And relatively, we want to picture how the heart would have to kind of roll in the opposite direction. And then as the lung is sliding up in lateral flexion, the heart is relatively rolling in the opposite direction. Otherwise, there's no joint. So we really want to try to picture that slippery joint space between lung and heart as we move. So lung back, heart forward, lung forward, heart back, lung back, heart forward, having the movement come right between the lung and the heart. And then we'll reach up, lung up, and then heart rolls in the opposite direction. And then lung down, heart up, lung up, heart down. Lung down, heart rolls in the opposite. One more time. Okay, very nice. So should be feeling pretty free through there. Let's just do some rotation. So as we rotate, the lungs, we of course have the diaphragm that's attached to the lower inside of the lower 6 ribs. So maybe you can feel how that gets stretched when you rotate. And then the lungs are spiraling as we rotate. So can you picture how the top would spiral a little bit more than the bottom as we spin? Spiraling lungs. And we could also swing and picture swinging the lungs around the spine. So just let the lungs swing, spin from side to side. Heart spinning around the spine also. Very good. Come back through center. Take a nice breath.
So easy.
Yeah, so breath should be feeling fuller, easier, freer right now. Posture should also be feeling easier, sense of lift, shoulders nice and relaxed. Chest open, maybe just take a few spinal movements. See how much freedom there is in there.
It's amazing. I really noticed my heels and feet are flatter. Who would have thought that the joints between my heart and lungs could affect my feet? That's why every body part's important, especially those organs, right?
Yeah, especially lung work for some reason I find always really drops my arches and relaxes the feet a lot. So lots more we could do there, but I think that's a little taste, and maybe it'll bring a bit more awareness for you into your organs, into your internal space. And you may also find that as you do that kind of focused movement, it also calms and quiets the mind, which is a nice added benefit. So that is the end of our meditate and move session for the day, and we will be back with one more tomorrow.
Thank you so much, guys. Hope to see you soon. Have an amazing day. God bless.